My question is about relationships. And I was listening to what you were saying earlier about the list of positive aspects. And I can't remember what it was about, but it was about like someone you're having an issue with. And in a relationship, how do you know when you should just move on to another relationship or go out on your own or divorce?
Well, here's the thing. First, we want to acquaint you with your vortex and help you to make that your predominant relationship. So when you care about the relationship, the vibrational relationship between you and you, now you're standing on solid ground. And then the relationship of the vortex, or the energy of the vortex, will call you to your best good, to what you are really wanting. It's that easy for us to say thing about just don't leave a relationship from outside the vortex. Make sure you're in the vortex. And when you're in the vortex, you never leave anything. You just go somewhere else. And there's a huge difference between leaving one place and going to another. In other words, it's the difference between lack and alignment. It's the difference between resistance and allowing. So what you're essentially saying to us is, how much should I tolerate and how bad should it get before I go? Mm-hmm. And we say we would tolerate nothing. In other words, we wouldn't put up with anything. But the most important thing that we want you to hear is, it's not what somebody else is doing to you that's making the relationship not feel good. It's what you're doing to you by making that relationship more important than this relationship, and then resenting that one because it doesn't give you the feedback that you're looking for. In other words, when you're looking to another person to buoy you up, to fulfill you, to reassure you, to adore you, to love you unconditionally, you're asking something from someone that you shouldn't be asking of anyone other than the source within your vortex, because it's not their job to hold you as their singular object of attention so that they're there for you anytime you need them. Your inner being is always there for you anytime you need them, anytime you want, anytime. The resources of source are always there for you, you see. So we think that a whole lot of people, in fact, nearly every person, uses relationships in a really screwy way by asking anyone to be my rock, you're my reason for living, you're my anchor, you're my ball and chain. In other words, free them all. And more important, free yourself from needing them to behave, you see. And we know there are things that go on in relationships, in your relationship, that you don't want, and that no one should ask you to put up with. We just want you to know that you can't get to where you want to be by being mostly aware of what you don't want. So here's how it works. So this troubling relationship is causing you, and has been causing you for some time, to create a really different relationship in your vortex. Every time you are disrespected, a more respectful relationship cues up. Every time you are misunderstood, a more understanding relationship is queued up. Every time you are unappreciated, a more appreciative relationship is queuing up. Now, we know, as we said earlier, it's easier to go to the movie and watch the reality of all the color and vividness of real life than it is to conjure imagery of what's in the vortex. We get that. But we want you to understand that there is a vivid, delicious relationship waiting for you that has been carved out of every relationship that you've ever had, that you have access to, but that you have to make a choice, thought by thought, day by day, moment by moment, emotion by emotion. You have to reach for better feeling thoughts. You have to reach for what's here rather than be appalled by what's here. So what you have to do is just sort of put up with it when it's happening, because it's hard to ignore someone who's there. It's hard to ignore something when it's happening. Don't even try. But in those moments when you're not being tested to the fullest, In those moments when you're lying in the privacy of your own mind in bed and you have the ability to conjure thoughts, think about the vortex, not about the better relationship. Think about the vortex. Think about the peace and wonder and fulfillment of the vortex. Because what happens is, you see, you've already done step one. You've already put the relationship you want in the vortex. Now, the more you soothe yourself, the more you allow your vibration to raise, until eventually, it is our promise to you, your vibration will raise to the frequency of your vortex, and then you are a cooperative component to all of the things that you've put there, and then the impulse to act will be so strong that you will not be able to deny it. But it won't be a moving away from, it will be a coming home to feeling. Hard to hear when you're all wrapped up in what you don't want. So all these words are doing for you is, as you trust Abraham, as you believe in the overall message of the vortex, what we're doing for you here is letting you know that we've seen what's there. We've seen what's there, and you can see it too. And when you do, you'll know what to do. When you see it, you'll know what to do. What's got you down now, and a lot of people say, well, Abraham, it seems like any relationship is better than no relationship. And we say, not really. Not really. But there are a lot of people that feel that way. This is better than nothing. And we say, you are not in a position where you're having to choose something unwanted over nothing. It's something over something, something wonderful over something not wonderful. That's what the choice is. Something wonderful, something dynamic, something deserved, something equal to who you really are, something in alignment with what you've put there. You deserve a wonderful, 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 wonderful relationship, you see. You deserve a wonderful relationship. That's what's there for you. But you just gotta go to the pantry for a while and eat things that distract you.
I have been. So, when my partner is being especially negative,
well, that's not the time to do any work. Just accept that hair-blowing, just accept that hair-blowing experience as sort of where you're at. That hair-blowing back experience. In other words, well, this is where we are. This is what is. And this is putting all kinds of good stuff in the vortex. Don't tell your partner, because that's just annoying. Oh, you're helping me create someone so much better than you. Every time you act like that, my life gets better over here. You don't want to say that. Just know it.
So, do you just leave the room every time? Do you just
say again?
To distract yourself from like the ongoing negative stuff? Do you just leave the room every time?
You know
just
what?
Go into your...
You know what's interesting about this? You all watch television with all that stuff going on that's negative without feeling a need to leave the room. Do you run out of the room every time somebody kills a bug? Do you, in other words, there's all kinds of stuff that you don't necessarily want. The only reason that anyone leaves the room is to make a point. I don't like what you're saying. In other words, you want to de-emphasize the unwanted.
Okay.
So be here, this is the key or the trick that you're looking for. How can I be inside of it, right smack dab in the middle of a manifestation that is unpleasing and offering a different vibration? Mm-hmm. Well, watch your children. They figured it out. They ignore you. They pretend like you're not there. They don't hear anything you say. You could be just in a horrible mood and they don't know. They don't care. They're not hanging on your every word. They're in their own world. You keep shaking them, dragging them back in and saying, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. And maybe sometimes your relationship does that to you too, but we think you're exaggerating. We think you have the ability to bliss out far more often than You've been giving yourself credit. Our friend did it, and the happier she got, the more out of vibrational sync she became with the one who was giving her grief, until the universe just put them in different places. You see. So first, we want to be clear. We are not for a moment suggesting that every time you feel that way in a relationship, that it means you're moving on to another person. Because often the very person who helped you create the better relationship can be the person who helps you fulfill it once you get caught up to speed with what you're really wanting. In other words, that's one of the benefits of not taking action too soon. When you get into sync with who you really are, the people around you begin to behave differently. And sometimes you even feel like you're magic. Our friend thinks he's God. And we do too. In other words, you have such power of persuasion when you get tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Have you ever been in a situation where something happened and you laughed, and because you laughed, everyone else did too, and it sort of blew over? You changed the vibrational dynamics of the situation from your in the vortex attention to it, you see. So what have we said to you here? First, don't be hard on yourself. But second, and equally, don't be hard on the other person. Because you can't get to the person that you really want while you're railing against the person you don't want. You can't get to the behavior that you really want while you're taking detailed notes of what's wrong with what's going on. In other words, you're wanting to deactivate that in your vibration. And we've never known anyone who could deactivate something without activating something else. In other words, you just can't push against what you do not want without making it bigger. So you have to just do your best to withdraw your attention. And that's why you said, should I just leave the room? And we say, unless leaving the room draws more attention to it. If you can leave quietly or leave happily or hear something and go answer it or be on your way to something else. But don't leave in a defiant huff against anything. Because you're not wanting to proclaim to the universe, I'm leaving this. Because the universe will say, well, here's some more in another room. You see. Very good.
Very good. Thank you.